takes
He's a
advantage.
point forward for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
He's a point forward. But when you look at Giannis, you know what I'm saying? I feel like Giannis has ceiling down in the sense that like, and now I'm wrong. Let me restate it. He hasn't ceilinged out. I just think that
He has at least still raw. He still has a lot of rough edges, and he's still dominating.
I just don't see him getting the feel for the game any better. If you take away Giannis's defense, if you said, okay, he's an average defender because we know he's an elite defender. If he was an average defender, he wouldn't even be an all-star.
It's just tough, man.
It sucks. I'm tired of talking about the Lakers. I have no more breath left to even talk about these lame. Like, they're trash, bro. Like, they're trash, and
they're not getting any better. No matter how much we try to hope and wish and put them in.
I would rather see the Spurs make the playoffs. I think right now the Lakers are 9 and the Pelicans are 10, and they're separated. The Lakers, the Pelicans, the Spurs are separated. Last time I looked, by like the Lakers have 30 wins. The Pelicans, it's based off losses actually, but
yeah, I think Popovich, I think he's coming down to his like last part of his career. And
I wouldn't be surprised if he retires this year. He didn't broke the record. There's nothing left.
Did you see him like wink after he got kicked off?
Bruh, legend.
He's an OG in the game. Does not care. Basketball wise, I think we both agree that it's probably going to be between the 3 teams are gonna either win or be in the championship, right? We have Milwaukee, we have the Nets, and we have the Warriors, and we have 4 teams. I said 3 teams, 4 teams, and then the Suns. Those are the 4 teams that we're looking at, in my opinion. Yeah. And maybe rotating outside of that is the Sixers. But that's really
on the East, and then in the West, Memphis. I think that those are 2.
I think Memphis is a good dark horse, or Dallas. I think Dallas is a great dark horse because they're playing great basketball at the time.
Man, and you really can't bet against Luka, like I said, bro.
They just beat the Nets. Dinwiddie hit him with that, you know.
Yeah. And that's why I said, bro. I was like, if somebody told me right now, 2 months from now, man, can you believe Dallas won one and Luka averaged 45, 10, and 10? I'll say, yeah, I can't believe that. You know what I'm saying? He's that good, and it's kind of scary, honestly, that he hasn't even really hit his prime. He's like 23.
No, he definitely hasn't hit his prime. He's not even close to hitting his prime yet.
And he's already dominant. Like, god damn. I feel like he's the next one up. I love Milwaukee. I love Giannis. I think Giannis is pretty much ceilinged out, but he's going to ride this for another 5 to 10, barring any injuries. Like, he'll ride it.
You think he's ceilinged out?
Yeah. What is he going to get better than he is now?
I think so.
In what way?
His shooting, I think he's going to become a more efficient shooter and a more efficient post player.
For sure.
I feel like that's there's major holes in his games, and I think we've seen a little bit of that develop in the last year's finals and even into this season. He's not rushing anymore. He's not just jacking up shots. He'll take 2 in the first half, and then he'll just break your ass down on a break.
No, for sure. But my thing is that his game is really predicated on that rebounding. He likes to snatch the board, run with it. So he's going to score before you set your defense. If you notice, when the defense is set, his numbers drop significantly. And this is just me watching the game. You know, I ain't seen no
core defense when you get to see it.
Because he don't have, and we knew this about him from the jump, he don't have no go-to moves. So when you say get better, I'm like, that's one thing that is a feel type of thing, you know. And for a lot of the players that come over from other countries, they don't play that growing up like we do over here. You know what I'm saying? They play soccer, they play a bunch of different sports, and then somebody comes and grabs them and says, yo,
you need to play.
You should be playing. You should be hooping. You know, look at Embiid. Embiid said he didn't touch a basketball until he was 16. Now you've seen him, and it's like he's an anomaly. He's a unicorn. You know what I'm saying? He don't even know he shouldn't be doing what he's doing. Kevin Durant been playing basketball his whole life, and he looks like it. He dribbles like it. He shoots like it. So when I see Luka, I'm like, his ceiling is so high because he's going to become a better shooter, and he's going to, you know, he takes over games in a lot of ways that is not predicated on speed. It's not predicated on, you know, and so in the half court,
he's low key physical, more physical than you get credit for.
He reminds you
he gets you in the post, and he's technically obviously he's more of a wing, but he plays that guard position. He gets smaller players, gets those mismatches, backs you down, takes.
He's advantage. A point forward for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
He's 100%. A point forward. But when you look at Giannis, you know what I'm saying? I feel like Giannis has ceiling down in the sense that, like, and now I'm wrong. Let me restate it. He hasn't settled out. I just think that
I don't. He has at least still raw. He still has a lot of rough edges, and he's still
I
dominating the
just
game.
don't see him getting the feel for the game any better. If you take away Giannis's defense, if you said, okay, he's an average defender because we know he's an elite defender. If he was an average defender, he wouldn't even be an all-star. His offense is not what carries him. It's the two-way thing. It's the fact that he's 6'11" and can push the rock. But in the half court, he does not have a go-to move. He doesn't break down. That's why we were all surprised in the finals when all of a sudden he's doing sky hooks and you know what I'm saying, up and under.
He's doing shit. I'm like, he posts, turn around, jumper. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I think the things that can make him go to that next stratosphere of like, okay, now we're talking about the Kareems, the Mikes, is if he starts hitting 70% of his free throws on average. You know what I'm saying? Like if he can maintain that, and if he can get some go-to moves in the half court, I feel like then you're gonna say, okay, he's unstoppable. Right now, if you can slow down that fast break, bro, all of a sudden Giannis is not so scary, bro. You still gotta box him out. He averages damn near like fucking.
That's what happened that year that Miami beat him in the bubble. Is they basically got him to the half court set and
now beat us.
Yeah, and Giannis got he couldn't do anything. He didn't have enough.
He's gonna have to do the same thing this year. Like, Andre Drummond is not a good matchup, but Bam Adebayo is. So I think it depends on the matchups. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that nobody's really gonna want to go out to the 3-point line and defend him like that. Not Embiid, not Giannis. And if you look at the way those teams are set up, the Sixers and Milwaukee specifically, they don't have depth at that position. Like, I think that's why they went and got Serge. They was okay.
That's a great pickup too on the especially for the defense end.
Mm-hmm.
Like you need a type of player to kind of give Giannis a little bit of cushion on that defense, like that.
Exactly. Because it's gonna be interesting though, man. And then like we said in the West, they didn't got Dre. The Warriors didn't got Dre back,
but Steph Curry's out.
I know, bro.
So he's hurt, and now that kind of ruined the chemistry they were trying to build up to. But now I think there's two ways to look at this. In my opinion, right? You have an ability to give Steph a little bit of rest before the playoffs and get some fresh legs, because we've all know that Steph, when he hits the playoffs, he tends to get burnt out by that final round to the final conference round to the finals, right? He's pretty burnt out. That's how LeBron's able to abuse him in that finals, is just put a body on him and then he just shoots himself into a funk. It's really weird when he gets into more those bigger games, not because he's not made for it, but he's just a smaller player, and those games and those minutes add up. It is nice to have a bigger body to kind of absorb that impact. When you're small like Steph and you just taking hit after hit, you tend to be burnt out by the time those bigger games come. So I'm not knocking him for it, but that's just a pattern that I've noticed. I'm not saying he's not clutch. I don't want nobody killing me, all right? But that's just how I look at it. So you give him some time to rest before the playoffs, and you let Clay get his groove back with Dre and get him implemented. You get Wiseman back. So by the time playoffs come, they're acclimated. Right, you allow Jordan Poole to get his rhythm back, which would be nice because you're going to need him, and you allow Kuminga to get some more minutes, and like you said, he allow him to carve out his own role. But then there's the other aspect of it is like you don't have Steph Curry, and the shit could completely just sink. Clay is sealing it out. He's not going to get any better. Draymond is still working through his injuries, and Jordan Poole or Kuminga really don't turn out the way you need him to be without Steph being on the floor, because they allow
it's going to get tighter, bro. When Curry's on the floor, I mean, again, this is having Jerry Rice out there demanding a double team, even a triple team sometimes. Yes. So it's like it makes it easier for everybody. So I think that the Warriors definitely are, it's not good, but I do think that there's a team that we forgot to mention, and that is the team that beat them that night, Boston. You know what I mean? Boston's defense, that. They held them to a season low for the half. You know what I mean? Like their defense is like that, and I like the way they play. I like that they have a closer in Jason Tatum. They have multiple lockdown defenders from Derek White, Robert Williams, Marcus Smart. Even Jaylen Brown and Tatum to a certain extent are good defenders. I wouldn't necessarily say great, but on any given night they could be great. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at the
man. Boston's, we talked about it. Boston, Jason Tatum. I think their two wings are good, better. I don't know who was saying to trade them. It just doesn't make sense.
I think that was prior to this year. For a while, they were saying to expedite the title run. Jason Tatum is like that. But I'm like, I think Jaylen Brown fits in perfectly. And what are you going to get that's going to make you that much better? I mean, the only way I trade I'm not trading Jason Tatum, but the only way I would trade Jaylen Brown is if I'm getting elite talent that I felt like was like when they were talking about Ben Simmons, where it was like, I can see that, but the problem is Jaylen Brown can give you what Ben Simmons gives you, not maybe at that level night in, night out defensively, but
it gives you some type of offense too.
Exactly. That's what you cannot get, the two-way wing like that. I mean, what are you going to get? That's my thing. Like, unless you're telling me
his position and those are premium, those are like high demand players.
Absolutely. So two-way wing, 6'7", 6'8", like defending multiple positions, switchable, on a decent contract. Like, bro, like, what are you going to, like, again, unless you're telling me you can go get me Damian Lillard, or I'm talking about top 5 players. Right? Like, okay, I'm going to put a package together to go get, what I'm saying, a top 5 talent. But again, Anthony Davis. Okay, let's talk. But even then, it's like Mr. Glass, bro. Like, you trade him for a player that might play for
that actually isn't a bad proposal. That's not a bad proposal.
The defense that they have, Jesus Christ, with him and Robert Williams, it would be like, oh my God. Then Marcus Smart locking shit down. All of a sudden, you get Jason Tatum can now take 30 shots a night. Bruh. It's a great trade.
That makes both teams exponentially better. And I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't really believe in Anthony Davis anymore. I think he's on a downward part of his career. He just can't stay healthy. And
but with the defense that they have a chance to really be one of those great all-time great defenses. I mean, even if you trade for Rudy Gobert, it's like he's always on the court. He's not hurt like that. You know what I'm saying? And then you look at what that gives you. But with the way that the teams are playing right now, he's about to become a fossil. Where it's like you can't shoot, bro. Like you're like on the court, you might be a 3-time defending, defensive player of the year, but you can't shoot the ball. And I think that's where even Robert Williams has a little mid-range jump.
Yeah, something. Yeah, something.
So, man, I don't want to talk too